Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Yes, we are finally here. I am finally doing this video. It feels like I've been trying to do this video for about a month. Um, this is part of the Getting to Know My Colored Pencil series. I am doing a casual collab, I guess you could say, with Tammy Colors 2, where we're taking a closer look at our colored pencil sets. We have a lot of similar sets, so the ones that we have that are the same, we'll review them together, and then the one-offs that we each have that are unique, like we'll do our own reviews. And usually Tammy goes ahead and does like the full review. So I'm going to put hers down in the description. She shows everything. Like she has a test page. She shows how they do with white colored pencils on different backgrounds, the color wheel, different types of shading, whether they smudge or bleed or anything like that. She does like the whole shebang. So if you really want to see an in-depth test of these pencils, I'm going to put her video down there and hopefully a card up here. I can't remember if YouTube lets me do that or not. So definitely go check out her video. My video is kind of a follow-up where I mostly talk about the set. I compare it to my other sets, give kind of a high level my feelings about it, because everybody's different in how they color with different coloring mediums, in this case colored pencils. She shows a lot of coloring with just the pencils. I show mostly over a base color like marker or something like that, because too much pencil use really messes up my hands and wrists and aggravates my tendonitis. So we thought it would be interesting to offer two different perspectives on pencil sets where we can. She posted hers a while back and I hadn't got to it yet, and I was like, I've got to get to it before she does the next one. So definitely go check that out. I usually do a demo video with each pencil set. Excuse me for just a sec. I usually do a demo with each pencil set, and that video is also going to be down in the description if you want to see more demo work. We will work in a few books, but if you want to see a really in-depth demo, I will put that link in the description as well. Card here if I can. If you want to see these pencils on both Amazon paper and color it like smooth marker type paper. And you'll see those pictures today, by the way, so when I'm showing you the samples. Alright, plus this Arteza video got a little interesting because I did the demo and I did the swatch, and I went to look to provide links to the 120 set, and a couple people had mentioned to me that the 120 set was out of stock when we first talked about doing the series, and I thought, well, surely they'll have it in stock by now. They do not. So the set I'm showing you right now, you can't currently get. I contacted Arteza customer service. I did follow up with them, and they wrote me back and they said they are planning to come back out with the 120 set. I guess they're just having trouble finding a supplier or a manufacturer of the pencils. So the 120 set should be coming back. Now, I say all that to say, and sorry if you hear other noises in the background, that's my phone. Actually, let me check something real quick and just make sure. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't my husband. If I sound a little scattered today, my cat Leroy is throwing up again, and it's probably his liver. He's having constant infections and issues with his liver, so he's off to the vet with my husband, and I'm just worried about him. So they told me that would come back in stock, and so I will preface this review. Really, all my pencil reviews should come with this disclaimer. I purchased my set in 2019, and a lot of my sets are older sets because I've been coloring for about 6 years, and I don't go through my pencil sets very quickly. So a lot of my sets are older. Take my review with a grain of salt, because formulas can change over the years, quality of pencils can change, color offerings can change. I'm just showing you what I have and my experiences with the set that I purchased. So this was in 2019. When this set is when it's available again, I don't know, will the quality be the same? Will the colors be the same? I don't know. And that's a question that I'm curious to find out once it's made available. However, there are other sets available though. So I'm going to cover the 120 and then I'm going to show you the other two sets that are actually available to purchase on Amazon. Arteza no longer allows you to purchase on their site and they ship it out. It's only right now available to purchase through Amazon. So this is the color. So because of all that, this was going to take a little more explaining at the start of the video. So that was one of the reasons I think I was putting this off, because this of course got complicated. So here is the 120 set swatch. And actually this is an old swatch. My coloring corner with Renee actually watched the demo video and she realized that the swatch chart was incorrect for Arteza on her Patreon and her Ko-fi, so she has updated that. This is the revised chart. I haven't had a chance to fill it in yet. All my pencils just about all my pencils are pulled out of the case right now because I've been working with them. And so I figure I'll just re-swatch it when I put them back in. But I haven't re-swatched it yet, but there is an updated color chart. I was mistaken in that I thought they had gotten rid of 3 colors and added more grays. They did not. It was just how this was situated. So the set I have, at least as far as we know, is the current set, or that will be available. And they didn't give me a timeline. So I apologize for that, but I guess there are going to be special cases like that. So, all right. Here is what the Arteza pencils look like. These have a heftier feel to them, like weight-wise. They feel heftier to me, a little bit thicker than like a Prismacolor, probably more like a Polychromos, and they have Arteza. These have expert on them, but I don't know if they've done away with the expert and professional labels. They may change that, but that's what it was at the time. They have a color name, color number, and then this is supposed to be a light fast rating, which is handy. So that is what the pencil looks like. Sorry, it would help if I did this. I feel like I'm doing a lot of over explaining. If you just want to go to the samples and stuff, I understand. All right, so the swatch, like I said, these, I took a quick look and these do not exist. And these are actually here. So this is coral, or no, I think I have these backwards. That's salmon pink, that's coral, and that's forest green. Yes, I am being just very sloppy. I have prepared as well as I can for this. We're just gonna get through it. So I'm going to preface it like we're going to, spoiler alert, foreshadowing. I really like these pencils. I can't speak to what once they're put out, if the quality will stay the same. But the set I have, I really like. And I use them, actually, probably have used them more frequently than just about any other pencil besides maybe Prismacolors. So they have a very good color variety here. A lot of like light oranges, rich kind of red browns. Here's some of the salmon pink. I think the coral and the salmon pink should go up here, or it does in the revised chart. One of the complaints I have, I like their oranges. One of the complaints I have is I feel like this group of reds, maybe not blood orange, but like from vermilion to Venetian and carmine red don't really look all that different to me. Now, I have a problem with reds and red oranges. Apparently I can't see as much distinct color as I can in other colors. I guess it's a type of color blindness. I don't know. But to me, these don't look very different. But again, Your feelings may vary. They've got I'm not a huge pink fan, but I feel like they have an acceptable number of pinks, a nice established set of purples, some nice teals, a good variety, really good variety of greens. Again, their grays I don't think seem all that different, but so there could be a few tweaks made to this palette, but for the most part, I feel like it's pretty solid. And like I said, this came from my coloring corner with Renee. I will put a link to it, to her Patreon, and to the Ko-fi shop where this updated version is available. Now, I went a little further. So I said the 72 set and the 48 set are still available on Amazon. So, and maybe that's for the best. I think sometimes when you're trying a new pencil set, you might want to try a smaller set just to make sure you like it before, you splurge on the big set. And so I was going to show you the colors. I found the color swatches for the different sets. This is the 48. And it has a surprising number of yellows and yellow oranges in like a 48 set, which I appreciate. A fair amount of reds, not very many pinks, not very many purples, quite a few blues, greens, some browns. You've got a black, two grays. You've got like a blue gray, and then what looks like a warm gray, and then the white pencil. So depending on what you need them for, this might work for you. And then this is the 72 set, which again, I find very cool and unusual about this palette is, again, they provide a lot of yellows and a lot of oranges in their smaller pencil sets, which I find very unusual. Usually you get a very small amount of yellows and oranges. So I do appreciate that. Again, you get a few more pinks. You get a fair amount, enough to build like a couple sets of 3 of reds, I would say. Again, a few more purples, a big variety of blues, blue-greens, and greens, a good build out of browns, and then a couple more grays added in. To me, like, I tend to like using oranges and yellows more. I don't use pink as often. I do use purple, but like, if I had to have a 72 set, like, this would be a pretty good set to build with, in my opinion. But I just want to show you what they had available right now, just in case you do want to try these out. So there's that. And one neat thing I wanted to show you for these in particular, I got these from colorwithclaire.com, and I'll put them in the description as well. It's going to be all kinds of information there. Color combinations for Arteza. I'm a lazy colorist. There are some people that really enjoy finding combinations themselves, and I have a couple that I like to use, but I never write them down. I'm lazy. I got this, and I was able to print this out. I finally got a color printer, so I could just print these out and look at them and use these, and I actually utilized some of these on a couple pages. So I really like these. Those are nice. All right, so set comparisons. We'll try to run through this pretty quickly. So this is a 120 set. Artix has a 126 chart. I would really like to have a color family chart of the Arteza, but like, obviously right now, if the 120 set's not available, I like how Renee does her swatches as well. So pretty much I'm trying to convert all my swatches to either the color family chart, or this is kind of a color family chart, or to this one. Hopefully over time I can do that. So Artix also has a good variety of yellows and oranges as well. I feel like the colors variety, at least in these top groups, is very similar. I think you get some kind of smokier teal, dark blues more here than you do here. You also get this really nice extended kind of yellow greens, like the asparagus and the olive, kind of your darker yellow greens. You only really get a couple in the Arteza set. But I don't think you get as many browns here as you do Arteza. You get a few more neutral colors, and you get a lot more grays in this one. So I would say, what am I trying to say here? What am I trying to say? Uh, if you want more grays, if you use a lot of gray in your coloring and you need a more like bigger variety of grays, then I would go with like the Arctics. But while this has a lot of grays, I don't see a huge variety between them. But if you don't need as much variety in your grays, then, you know, I would go with the Artezas. I think the Artezas, well, we'll see when we do color samples. Polychromos, not as many yellow, not as many reds in the Polychromos, in my opinion. Or, okay, you've got some reds up here too with the pinks, so that's why. So that's kind of that chart. You got a lot of browns and gold colors in your Polychromos. Not very many like super teal green colors. Again, a wide variety of grays. And Prismacolor, Prismacolor. Now this is a 150 set, so obviously theirs is expanded out a lot. But really and truly, Prismacolor, I feel like the reason they're 150 is because of all their grays. Like if you took your grays out, it'd be closer to like a 120 set. So of course you're going to get some more colors in your Prismacolors. And then your Starjoy Gold, you get a lot more I feel like kind of skin tone colors in here, or neutral colors in your Starjoy Gold. Nice variety of purples, more pinks than I would typically use, but not as many reds in this one for sure. And I don't think you get as much variety of browns, but again, you get really established gray sets. So I would say Arteza is probably the weakest in its grays, in that there's just not a ton of variety between them. They have grays available, but I don't see as much a difference between them as I do in these established sets. So really and truly, I think that's like the biggest difference. I don't use gray that often, so the Arteza set really works for me. Okay, that was a lot of explaining. Anyway, alright, fair enough though. Let us get to samples. I have quite a few samples. Like I said, this is probably, other than Prismacolors, the pencil set I use the most. And so Color It Eerie Enchanted, this is part of the demo video that I linked. It is still a whip. I do hope to finish it this month. I have a bunch of pages marked of pages I want to work on in this book. Here we go. And so this is a work in progress. It's a watercolor base. So again, I like to base my pages in marker, watercolor, what have you, then use pencil for shading over the top. It's just the easiest way I can use pencils, and I found that I'm doing that more lately, and I am using my pencils more, which has made this like a really fun exercise, by the way, that I'm finally getting some use out of them. But you can see I did the background up here up top with the sky. I worked on the feathers on his hat, which I think turned out gorgeous, and then his hat and part of his body. And so I'm hoping I can finish this one out this month. But I like how they did on this page. They feel a little bit grainy. I tried to use light to medium pressure on these. Normally I'm a very heavy pressure pencil gal, and I'm trying to changed that. So I'll show you an example of me using heavy pressure and how that looks different. But I don't mind that. Like, I think they do. I like the Artezas on smoother paper, honestly. So there's that one. I also had an appointment with my podiatrist this morning and got a steroid shot in my foot, so I am, yeah, just all over the place. Fairies Gone Wild, this was my other demo page to show you guys, all of you, show you all, I need to stop saying you guys, to show you all Arteza pencils on Amazon paper. And so this was a marker background with Arteza pencils over the top. I feel like they are soft pencil. When I say Artezas are soft pencil, I'm talking, to me personally, they feel like they are up in the Prismacolor range, but they're not quite as soft as Prismacolor, which makes them advantageous to me because these to me don't smudge as much. I don't have as many problems with these smudging as I do Prismacolors. So for a heavy-handed colorist who needs to lighten up on their pressure but get somebody mentioned that these have really good color payout, and that's a great way to put it. Use lighter pressure but still have that vibrant color payout. That is one of the things I love most about the Arteza pencils, is that I love bright, vibrant color, and they deliver that every time for me. So, all right, some older pictures. We have Cute Witches. This was a marker background with pencil over it, and I went too dark with her cape. I should have made that a lighter blue because it does kind of wash the kitty out a little bit, but I did this actually in honor of my cat Maggie, who passed away a few months ago. I made his tail like a little stub tail, as you can see there. And you can see like the shading I did on him was beautiful. These actually shade a lot better on Amazon paper than I thought they did. They're still not my favorite. I think I prefer the Arctics on Amazon paper just because they're a little bit harder pencil, and I tend to use harder pencils on more textured paper. But they do a well enough job, and like I said, this was number of years ago, and I think I should have started off with a lighter base. So it's kind of interesting how my coloring's grown a bit since then, but I really do love this picture though. Here's an example of smooth paper. This is the Cat Coloring Book by Grace J. I did this handsome fellow in honor of Tammy's cat Domino. I love tuxedo cats, and I wanted to do a picture for her. It was supposed to be for her birthday, and then I think I was late finishing it. But it was a watercolor base and then Arteza pencils on the top. And I used pretty heavy pressure on this page, but you can see like they gave such a beautiful pop of color. I really, really love this page, how it turned out. It wasn't a good lesson in I need to lighten up my pressure. But I feel like these really shine on smoother paper. And maybe they're just, for me, a little too soft for textured paper. One of the first pictures, I think Arteza was the second colored pencil set I bought after Prismacolor's Lost Ocean. I did this one back in 2018. And that's when I was still trying to do lighter pressure and layers. And don't mind the pea-colored water around him. I was trying to use pastels, and I just feel like I picked an unfortunate color. But the rest of him is done in the Arteza pencils, and I really love like the purple and green combos like this, the brights. I really love those colors. So, and you can see it's held up well. We're at what, 6 years? Just about out, and you can tell like I did spray it with a fixative spray to preserve it, and sprayed it very lightly, and so some people have had issues with some Arteza sets. If they introduce water to them, they're not supposed to be watercolor pencils, but they are water soluble, like really bad. Some of the sets are. And so when people have introduced like fixative sprays or managed to be using water for something else, it can really cause them to dissolve. But I use a very light layer. I didn't have the problem, and that problem, even though I believe my set's pretty water soluble, I don't know. I was fortunate, I guess, because it was an early set. That's why I'm saying always take older pencil reviews with a grain of salt, because as we know, everybody these days is trying to cut corners and raise prices on things while delivering. I'm not saying everybody is going for lower quality, but it kind of feels that way. So, formulas change. Anyway, 6 years and it is still very vibrant. No fading, no transfer onto the other page. And finally, this is from Creative Haven, Fanciful Faces by Miam Adato, I think is her name. I ended up giving the book away, but I kept this. I did this like 2018 as well. And I just love it. I love the orange and yellow. Like the colors here, this is my jam. If y'all want to know like what colors make me happiest, it's these. Like the purples, the oranges, the blues, the greens. And added a little bit of glitter to her makeup. But like, I think even her skin tone did really well. I didn't get as much graininess as like I got when I was using the Arteza paper. And Creative Haven paper is kind of in between smooth, like in between Amazon paper and like Johann Basford paper. It is not as textured, but it's not super smooth. This is also older paper, so of course things have probably changed. But I keep this because I just really love the colors, and I pull this out a lot to use this as inspiration. So there you go. Hopefully that gives you a really good look at the pencils and how I've used them. Now I'm going to prep for the couple demos I'm going to do here. We're just going to do the Rita Berman and Johann Basford books today. I think at this point I've shown you guys a couple Amazon paper examples, so I'm not really going to worry about textured paper at this point. I've kind of shown you what it does on super textured paper. So in trying to keep this short because of the extra long explanation at the beginning, we'll just focus on the two books that we've been sampling in. So let me get those prepped. All right, so we are going to first start with Rita Berman book. This is one we've been working in. I think I'm going to skip over this image because it's going to be really, like, I'll be able to get the green and the yellow, but I think it'll be really hard to see the red and blue differences in those tiny flowers. So we're going to move, I think, down here. Maybe. Trying to think how I want to do this one. Yep. Okay. So a couple things on these. They sharpen really well. I have this Jarlink electric sharpener. This thing's been a workhorse for me. Sorry, this is going to be loud. But they come out very nicely. I don't think I've, knock on wood, I'm sure it's coming, but I don't think I have found a pencil yet that I can't use the sharpener for. And so that's been really cool. Alright, so I'm going to start off, I like going darkest to lightest. So I'm using lemon yellow, sapphire yellow, and cream for those of you who have the set and are wondering. But yeah, for sure, I feel like these are definitely on the softer side. And even just with some medium pressure, I feel like you get a color payout I did snap that tip just a little. You get a color payout that can be a little challenging to achieve in other pencils unless you press down harder. One note I will make about these pencils is in terms of layering, I don't feel like they're the best at layering. I meant to call this out in the fish picture in Lost Ocean, but I tried back then. I was trying to do the very light layers over everything, and I noticed that after so many lighter layers, they start to look a bit grainy. They mush around. They don't really want to blend anymore. Like the surface of the paper just doesn't take these in a lot of layers, at least not in my experience. So if you really love going light and slowly building up layers in your pencil sets, this might not be the best set for you. I mean, by all means, if you want to test it out, it may be a different experience for you. But for me, I just don't have good experience using. I'll just use medium to heavy pressure, just use 1 or 2 layers at most. But see, that's ideal for me. I don't want to spend a lot of time on my colored pencil work. Sometimes I'll get in a mood where I really want to take my time with pencils and work slowly at it, but for the most part, if I stick too long at doing that, I will get frustrated and be like, I want to get this picture done now. And I will go crazy. I will start putting heavy pressure down to try to finish it. I get impatient. So let's do another layer. So I'm using cream as the lightest color, so this does look maybe a little bit. I think I'm actually using lighter pressure than I did with the other pencils, which is hilarious. I thought, let me try doing 2 rounds of this and seeing what we get. And this is also, I don't think I've used Arteza pencils. No, I haven't used Arteza pencils in a Rita Berman book before, so. But it is generally smoother paper, so my guess was that they would do just fine, and it seems to be the case to me. Of course, yellow is a hard color to see as much, so we're going to do some of the red. What I'm going to do is a little bit of the red, a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the green, and then I'll show you the finished part of this picture. So alright, let's go with the blue. I'm actually including, if somebody had, what is your favorite pencil color in all your sets? Mine would be the Mykonos, not peacock blue. Mine is the Mykonos blue. In the Arteza set, it is 104. And I don't know if I can show it well over here, but it is just a very bright blue. And I love that color. Do people have that? Do people have favorite, pencil colors, just in particular sets? I didn't think I did until I found that Mykonos blue, and even 6 years later, 5-6 years later, it is still. Oh, I guess I did have these in 2018. Oh, I know what I did. In 2018, I probably had the 48 or the 72 set, because I do have some backups in my little bin. I had the smaller set, and then they came out with the 120 set, and I splurged on that, I think, in 2019, because I liked the set so much. and the pencils. So that's what happened. Yeah, Arteza and I have had kind of on, there's different products of theirs, like, I love their pencils. I know they caught a lot of flack for them being water soluble. I know that was an issue for a lot of people. But for me, like, I tend to use watercolors as like a base. I don't usually use them after I put colored pencils down. So it's not as much a concern for me. And I love how they go on the paper so much that, like, yeah, it sucks that it's not disclosed that they're water soluble, but like, I I don't think you should just not use the pencils because of that. Unless you have a specific reason, like, again, you use heavy water in your pieces and you use them after you put pencil down. Like, that would make complete sense. But some things, like their very first generation Everblend markers, drove me nuts because I love the colors. I love this color range, and it was similar colors, but they yellowed really bad. And that just broke my heart because I really did love those markers. But I could not. See, that was my limit. I could not abide yellowing on the pages around the pictures, and I lost a lot of pages from that, and I'm still salty about it. I love their real brush pens, but I just don't use them enough. And I feel like there's only 96 of them. If they came out with a 120 set, I would probably use them more. There's just not enough variety of colors, I feel like, for them. So I really like how those came out. And now we're going to do the red. Their paints are okay. I do like their paint pens pretty well. I do feel like they are kind of like really shooting themselves in the foot not having this 120 set out. Like, I think they grew very fast and very popular quickly, and I think they tried to use that opportunity, of course, to build a lot of variety of products. But what I wish they had done is focused on the products. Wow, that really was a bad choice of dark red and medium red, but it's fine. It's fine. A little bit of dust crumbs happening here. But I wish instead they had focused on, like, maybe fixing some of the issues with their existing products, like their markers, their watercolor, not watercolor pencils. I like their watercolor pencils too. They're just not very pigmented. So again, they work well as a base. But like, I wish they had focused on their existing popular products and like improving them where they could, instead of trying to bust out in so many different categories and so many different offerings. Oh, well, that didn't do too bad. I should have picked a better middle red. Oh, that's what I did. I picked the crimson red and I meant to pick a different. It's fine. It's fine. It's what it is. I mean, they did do a different generation of Everblend markers. Um, I think Tammy has them and she really likes them, and they don't yellow, thank goodness. However, the price point on them went crazy. And then they offer brush tips, but they only offer brush tips in certain colors, and you couldn't buy it as a complete set, and you had to, like, make purchases easy for your consumers. Like, if you're going to reformulate your Everblend markers and this and that, don't, like, jack them up to Copic prices. I mean, just don't. Actually, that turned out really pretty. I had my doubts to start with, but, no, actually turned out really nice. Let me do the green real quick. So I feel like there's some things they probably could have done a little better. And I think not taking so long to find a manufacturer for their pencils is hurting them. Because I feel like, honestly, their colored pencils are my favorite product. And but, you know, I would like to, I'm going to want to use that green, I think, here. There also comes the price point, which I'm going to talk about, like, in my final thoughts, I think. Because I'm a little worried about how they're going to price this set when they finally get it back up and going. Like I said, you get just such good, whoops, pops of color. Oop. Now I'm trying to hurry it up, and all that light pressure is gone. But these really just scratch my itch for bright, vibrant colors. You do get a little bit of dust, but you gotta think. I mean, granted, I don't use my colored pencils as heavily as I should, and some of these sets my Prismacolor set was the first full set I bought, and so that's closer to 6 years old. But, like, that indigo has probably been barely used. And then look how much, my favorite pencil in the group, you can see how much it's worn down. So, like, these do not wear down very quickly at all. Alright, let me finish this off camera and then I'll show you it, and then we'll move to the final demo. Alright, so we are done, and granted, we've only done a few pencils so far. However, whoops, forgot a flower. However, I definitely think out of the three, these are my favorite to use in these books, which is good to know. I feel like you get a brighter pop of color here, and even here. I feel like these blue and reds, if I can hold it like this, feel just a little bit duller. The green is comparable, but like the red and the blue I feel like maybe are just a little bit duller in the Artix pencils than in the Arteza. Now, keep in mind with these pencils, they are wax based, they are very waxy type pencils. So if you don't, like, if you can see here how much shine shows up on that page. So they are very waxy pencils, but you get a lot of color output with them. I don't mind that. The Artix aren't as waxy. They have a little bit more dull. That's, I think, because of the softer lead, the harder lead in the Artix, and they're probably using less wax. Arteza uses probably more wax, and then thus they're softer to put down. But yeah, if that shine bothers you and you don't really like that waxy finish, wax bloom is a thing that can occur with really waxy pencils. I've seen it with Prismacolors as well, where it can get kind of cloudy looking or whatever because of the wax coating. And a lot of times you can avoid that by taking a tissue after, a couple weeks and kind of gently rubbing over the top of the picture with it. Again, when I use that fixative spray, I try to do that with my pencil stuff, which I have not been doing lately, and I really need to get on it. I haven't had that issue happen, but if it does look like it's a little bit too shiny and like the colors are looking a little cloudy, if you just take a small tissue and kind of just rub it gently over the top, usually you can take that off. And that's an issue with Prismacolors as well, so I don't really, I don't think it's a big deal, but I'm going to tell you because you may feel differently. So feel pretty good about that. Like I said, I think out of the three so far, I definitely like these the best in the Rita Berman books. Now, I have already shown you a Johann Basford book, but this is a little bit newer paper, and we're going to be doing just solid coloring. Let me back this out. So I've been doing demos in Worlds of Wonder as well, instead of doing the blends like I did in that picture, we just do flat solid. I call it straight coloring, but that just doesn't sound right. Like there is no straight coloring, there is no gay coloring. It's but like solid colors like this instead of the blends. So I'm going to we're going to use Mykonos blue. We're going to use kind of a light blue green, if I have it. It's very interesting. There isn't really a light blue green. There's a sky blue. We might use that. Oh, this will work. I think the robin egg blue is what I'm looking for. Let's see. We need an orange. Need a red. Need kind of a purpley violet color. I think plum purple will do. Kind of that middle, let's go with that middle green, the spring green. And then yellow, we'll go with the lemon yellow. I think that gives us a similar color range. Alright, cool. You want to know how my current, most of my Arteza pencils are? They are in this, which is actually a dual water cup for watercolors. I'm using it as a dual pencil holder for those demos I was doing. I just pulled out the majority of the pencils, so okay, sorry, trying to think here how I want to do this. Alright, so again, I will show you how these go down on a couple spots, and then we will I'll finish the rest of it off camera, then I'll give my final thoughts. And my third series will be out in May. This is going to take a while. I have a lot of pencil sets. Oh, and if you've been watching the whole video and you heard me talk about Leroy, my husband is back from the vet. His liver values are actually normal for the first time in a very long time. We were just talking about his chronic liver infections potentially causing damage to his liver, and so my vet had recommended supplements, and we were like, oh god, because he won't eat the treats because he is a picky princess, and the liquid has made him throw up before. It tastes really bad because we've tried it before, so we were going to do pills, and that cat does not pill well. Like, losing fingers when you try to pill that cat. We're still going to try it, but we only have to do the supplements once a day since his values are so normal. So that is fantastic news. Like, that was better than I expected I was going to hear today. So she thinks he just has a bug, or it could very well be pancreatitis. He did decide he liked Temptation Treats this weekend, and I gave him some of those. And again, he's a very picky princess, and his stomach is very sensitive. And it could just be that his stomach can handle Temptation Treats, and it just made it upset. When I tell you that cat was supposed to be, he's 6, hard to believe he's 6. He's supposed to be our stable cat with no health issues. And in some ways, he is harder to manage than the older ones. He has stomitis in his mouth where he's lost, not all his teeth, but a good amount of them. He has the ongoing liver infections. He's just prone to them. He also has issues with crystals forming in his bladder when he gets really stressed out. And he won't eat the prescription food except for about maybe anywhere from, just depending on what kind of day he's having. It could be 50% of his diet. It could be 25%. But so far, managing his stress and keeping him from getting so stressed out and upset seems to be doing the trick, thank goodness. So you can imagine we were reluctant to bring another cat in because we knew he would be our problem. We thought he would be our problem bringing a new cat in. And I really thought the only successful one would be a young female cat because he's very territorial. And when I tell you, he was probably our least problematic cat. Not really least problematic because, like, Bagheera, I don't even know if Reap Sheep still knows we have another cat. Some days he actually comes into contact with her and he's like, oh yeah, we have another cat. Yeah, okay. Like, he is the most I do not care of any of the cats. Bagheera, I think, has dementia and keeps forgetting that we have another cat. And, like, he also doesn't really approach her, but she gets really worked up. Not as much anymore, but she used to get really worked up every time she saw him. But Leroy was the one that first, we were able to let him in the room a little bit to interact with her. And, like, he was just oddly very chill with her. And my oldest is actually, my other girl cat is my most problematic one with her, which I find funny. But it's one of the reasons we didn't really want to adopt another cat right now, because stress causes so many problems with his health. So many issues with his health. And he actually had been doing really well up until this weekend, and he started getting sick, and I was like, oh my gosh, we actually were successful here. And then this happened. But he got a Serenia shot, he got a probiotic to try to help with the GI upset. And hopefully he will get to feeling better soon. So, alright, let's see. So far, I really like how these are laying down. I, again, don't have to go crazy with these to, really, press down and go back and forth a lot to get a good color payout. It's very quickly laying down. I'm getting a little bit of wax kind of dust from the pencils. Probably about as much as I almost feel like the Arctics were giving me more. But I will say it's about the same. I'm going to put down this purple color, and then I will fast forward it. But no, I think these are my favorite in the Johann Basford books. Again, I think the Artezas, just for me, really shine on smooth paper. Smoother paper. That's my favorite paper to use them on. Though, like I said, I am not opposed to using them on Amazon paper. And again, I just think it comes down to this. how vibrant they are with just a little bit of effort. I don't have to press super hard with these pencils. I don't really have to work at smushing 2 or 3 colors together. Like, they do it pretty effortlessly, and they don't, I mean, I feel like, to me, they smudge together, or smudge, they smush together, you know, maybe not as well the Prismacolors, but they're really darn close in my opinion. And the best thing about them is when I use a pretty heavy pressure like this and I rub across the paper, I'm not getting any pickup of pigment. And to me, that is my biggest problem with the Prismacolors, is they tend to smudge. And for somebody that is not good at working top left to bottom right on her pictures and likes to put her hands all over the pictures, I have gloves which help reduce that chance. I should be wearing one right now, actually, but I'm feeling rogue today. But there's no pigment on that side either. So alright, let me finish this up and we'll take a look and then wrap up. There we go. So those are all kind of side by side. And like I said, I definitely think the Artix lays down the best of the 3 with solid color on smooth paper. The Artix took a little bit of effort. The Amazon Basics, actually, that was like the one thing I liked best about them, is they seem like they put solid blocks of color down really well. But like the Artezas that do that even better with, it's even easier with them with a brighter color output, in my opinion. So, and again, you can see, you get a pretty waxy look. The Arctics aren't quite as bad. The Amazon Basics are very shiny. So, and again, not really getting anything up from the paper. So, alright. So, final thoughts. Where is my swatch? There we go. So final thoughts on this. Again, I've only reviewed 3 at this point, but I'm just going to say, you know, back when I was first starting out coloring, I got the Prismacolors and I liked them okay, but then when I got really into the habit of using heavy pressure, they were super frustrating to me because of how much they smudged. And then I got the Artezas right after that. That was the other set I got. And I just love them. I feel like I get that blendability. I get that softness of the pencil and the ease of use of putting it down without having it so soft that it's all smudgy. And they're just, to me, they're easier pencils for me to work with. And while I'll do pages on occasion, just pencil, as you know, you saw in the demos there, and I feel like I would probably grab these more often than I would the other definitely more than the other pencils I've reviewed right now. Just, I don't know, getting these back out, using them this past month, I had kind of forgotten them because A, I hadn't been using a lot of pencils, and B, there's a lot of pencil sets and I haven't made my way back around to them in a while. And I feel like this is a controversial take because I know a lot of people don't like the Arteza pencils, but they're my favorite. They are. Maybe during this review process I will find some that I like better, but dang it if I just don't love these pencils. I feel like, especially on smoother paper, Johann Basford books, Rita Berman, I even like them on Creative Haven paper, and that cat coloring therapy book I showed you, like any smooth kind of Japanese or Korean paper. I feel like these are some of my favorite pencils to use. And even when I use them on Amazon paper, they're still just as vibrant. They're still just as nice. They're just a little grainier just because they're softer pencils. And so if I was using Amazon paper, I would probably rather use the Arctics than these because they are harder leaded pencils. That's like the one exception. But if I had to choose one set of pencils to take with me, like on an island somewhere, well, first off, sign me up for that. I volunteer as tribute. But secondly, if I could only pick one pencil set to take with me, it'd be these. Because they're soft, but they're also not wearing down very quickly at all. Not that I have colored a ton with them, but I've colored more with them than I have any other pencils, and the set's going to last me a while. And so it's just, I feel like it's a crime personally for me to say how much I love these pencils and that they're not available right now. That bothers me so much. So I am sorry. I like I said, I did ask their customer service. They said that they are working to make them available soon. Now let's talk about price, because I know they don't like for us to do that, but I'm going to talk about it. All right, I cannot find where I purchased the colored pencils. I think I bought them directly off their website, probably back in 2018, because they were running a deal. Back then, you know, kind of like with Castle Art now, and I guess this is a tip for people. If you like Castle Art products, or other ones that can sell through Amazon or also sell through their site, and I don't know if they still do this, but back then you could kind of look between the Arteza site and Amazon, and sometimes they'd run sales in one area, sometimes they'd run sales in the other, and a lot of times like they would offer free shipping through their site. So sometimes I pick up products directly from the company rather than Amazon, but since Arteza doesn't seem like they're doing that right now, probably a moot point here. However, back in 2018, I paid for the 72 set. Apparently, I think I might have sent this to somebody because I don't know how I would have gotten all three sets, but it's possible. The 72 set I got for $30 US. The 48 set I got for $17 US. So my guess is the 120 set I probably got, my guess is I probably paid $50 to $60 US for those. Looking at those today, May 7th, 2024, there is a limited time deal running on the 72 set for $32. However, the 48 set is still priced at $28. Obviously, if you want to try these out, I would suggest getting the 72 set because they're very close in price right now. I feel like for the 48 set, $30 is too much. I know prices have went up since 2018, but I feel like the original prices I saw on these were too high for the 48 set, I would say, 20 to 25 maybe. The 72 set, 30 to 40, and then I would say for the 120 set, if it ever comes out, 50 to 60. Like, if you could find it on sale for 50, but if you bought them at 60, like, to me, because I love them so much, I feel like those are good price ranges. So if you can catch them on sale at those prices, that would be my recommendation. But I think they had the 72 count for a while. They had that marked up to like, when I was doing the demo a couple weeks ago, I looked and the 72 count was like $50, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, if I saw that price point, I would buy another set of pencils, as much as I love these. So yeah, my suggestion to you is look for sales when, for the 48 set, like I said, 20, 25, 72 set. I think the limited time deal it's on right now for 32 is a good price. 30 to 35, and then the Artezas, they're all Artezas, Michelle. The 120 set, 60, maybe 65, but I would probably just wait for a sale. I am curious what they will price those when they come out, and my guess is they're going to price them higher, because people have been waiting on them. And as much as I love them, I would say wait for a sale, because as much as I love these, they are not, and they do have light fastness ratings. So like, I'll give them props for that. I don't know how legitimate these light fast ratings are, but like, I would consider paying more than $75 for a pencil set that is like artist grade pencil sets. Like, you would use those pencils to make artist drawings. And so that would be your Prismacolors, your Polychromos, your Caran d'Ache, your Derwents. Those are the ones I would say 75 or more. And I'm being very frugal when I say that, especially given my recent purchases. But, you know, do as I say, not as I do here. However, like these, as much as I love them, I use them primarily as shading over a base color, or these will be one of the few sets of pencils I use on their own. Even I think 65 plus is too much for the 120 sets. So that's my opinion on it. And so I just, you know, kind of buyer beware and keep an eye out for sales. Like I said, the 72 set's on a really good deal right now on Amazon. And I also realize sometimes that deal's not available to everybody, because that's not how it's supposed to work. But, you know, we won't talk about that right now. Anyway, pros, these are soft. They, I feel like, blend together really well with minimal layers. I think they're fantastic for shading over base colors. These are probably the number one set of pencils that I would grab to just color with pencils too. These are versatile enough. I can use them for shading and use them on their own, either solid colors or blendable, particularly on smooth paper instead of textured paper. I probably wouldn't use these on just an Amazon page by itself with colored pencils, but let's be honest, I almost never am going to color an Amazon page using just colored pencils. Because, I mean, but like, I wouldn't even use these as much as I love them. So, I love the color variety. I think it's pretty sound as long as you don't need a huge variety of grays. I feel like the rest of this is pretty good. And cons, of course, the 120 is out of stock right now. No set date on when they're going to get that back. We don't know what quality it'll be. But the 72 and 48 are available, and I'm assuming they're still the old formula, and they probably still have left, you know, they have those still remaining because they're searching for a new manufacturer. That's my guess. So, these do come in different sets, which is really nice. That's a pro. A con on them is if you really like layering, multiple layers, I'm talking probably more than 3 or 4, I think these are going to get smudgy and grainy on you. Like, they're going to just push around. They're not going to blend well. The pigment of the paper, like there's a term I'm looking for here, y'all. I can't get it. But how much the paper can take in terms of layers, even on textured paper, I feel like is low. And I really hope that my cat doesn't delete this video. Come here, Reap Sheep. They love getting on my desk when I'm recording. But cons, if they can jack up the price, but I mean, everybody does that, so I guess that's not really a con. I'm going to make notes. I have a Google Doc that I keep this stuff in, and I will try to put it in the description as well. I'm not being very thorough here at the end just because I'm distracted by a reap sheep that I now have to hold like a baby. When he hears me talking, even during work meetings, he will show up. So, yeah, I don't know if y'all heard that, but he has things to say. But really and truly, like, these are my favorite sets of pencils. And I'm curious to it makes me nervous to say that, because the moment I say that, something will happen and they just won't manufacture the pencils ever again. And that would be about fitting for me. But, you know, in all these reviews, maybe I will find another pencil that I like almost just as well. So, hopefully this has been helpful. Again, it's helpful to a point because you can't get the 120 set right now, but if it comes out, hopefully this year, fingers crossed, you can come back and watch this, or you can watch Tammy's really in-depth review of the Arteza pencils, and you will be well prepared, hopefully, to make a decision. And if you get them, I hope you enjoy them, because I really do. And if not, you know, Amazon does have a refund policy if you're purchasing in that way. So, or return policy, I should say. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't remember what's next. We've had so many A's. I can't. Tammy's got the list. I've got the list too, but Artisto. I think the Artistos are next. And so yeah, that'll be up, and maybe one of these days I'll get out of the A's. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back at least on Friday with a coloring book collection, and we'll see if I can do anything else this weekend. Thanks. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them if I can. And all the links that I've mentioned, these swatches, the link to the pencil, or the 120 set won't be linked, but the 72 and 48 sets will be linked. Tammy's review, the color with Claire combinations, I will try to remember to include everything in the description, but if I miss something, just let me know and I will add it in there. From Reba Cheap and myself, we say, hope you have a wonderful day, and bye for now.